If you're a plastic surgeon or med spa owner and you are interested in hiring a marketing agency, but you really just aren't sure how to go about it to make sure you end up in the best hands, I'm Marjorie, CEO and co-founder of Alpine Analytix. We are a performance marketing agency built specifically to help plastic surgeons and med spas grow their practices profitably. But I have been in the digital advertising space for 20 years, primarily on the ad agency side. So I have worked with large agencies that have all Fortune 500 clients, small startup agencies, and I have consulted and freelanced for everything in between. So I have seen how the best of the best do it, and I have also seen kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if I were hiring a marketing agency for my aesthetic practice, this is what I would want to know, and these are the questions I would ask since I am an industry veteran. So hope this is helpful today, and here we go. A lot of agencies sound the same, and there are a lot of generalist agencies out there, right? And a lot of times they'll make big promises and big claims, and unfortunately, a lot of people, digital marketing been around for long enough now where a lot of prospective clients and, clients end up with us, they have been burned by agencies. And, that's unfortunate because, one thing we've noticed at Alpine Analytix is when we're talking to prospective clients, they're concerned, right? They're concerned that, are we making similar big promises that we can't back up, and are they going to be burned again? And so I thought it'd be helpful to just create a video about how to think through some of this stuff and to ask the right questions. So, here's some of the things to look out for. Agencies that claim big results, but they don't have case studies to back it up. They don't have founder-led content. Like, I'm the CEO of Alpine, and I have this YouTube channel where I am regularly sharing, whether it's high-level insights or even, I have a 30-minute video where I'm walking through the Google Ads account, and screen sharing it, and walking through in great detail how I would go about setting up a campaign and doing keyword selection, keyword research, and a whole host of other things. So it's helpful to have that type of founder-led content online so that people like yourselves can get a feel for who's running the show, how do they think, do I trust them, do I like what they have to say. Lack of specialization is something else that would concern me, especially in an industry like healthcare that is highly regulated. And not only is it highly regulated from a HIPAA standpoint, but Google, when you're running Google ads, it is also very heavily regulated. In fact, some advertisers and freelancers won't even touch healthcare accounts because they don't want to jump through the hoops that are required. And I have a separate video about that, if you're interested. So, generalist agencies, I've seen that work in the past. You can have a great team that's talented and experienced, and they try to keep up managing multiple accounts across multiple different industries. And, I'm here to tell you that you need someone with specialized expertise, and you want an agency that is specialized in healthcare, and even better if they're specialized in aesthetic and wellness marketing for plastic surgeons and med spas. Experienced execution, that's another big thing that I would look for, because I've personally been a part of agency pitch teams, and these were winning accounts for very large recognizable brands. And, they send the A team to the pitch. And then a lot of times you get junior folks and even intern managing the day-to-day with not a lot of oversight. So you want to make sure that you have a very experienced team, not only selling you, but managing your account day to day, and you want someone that's senior that is your point of contact as well. HIPAA compliance, this is a big thing. Google tags, Google Analytics tags, meta tags, Reddit tags, none of them are HIPAA compliant, which means you should not put them anywhere on your website or your landing page to track marketing campaigns. And if an agency does so, you are violating HIPAA. So that is something I want to be very clear about. You need an agency that has third-party technology where they can track all of these advertising campaigns across platforms, and the agency has signed a BAA with their tracking tech provider. Very important question I would ask, because a lot of agencies don't even understand that those tracking platforms that are so popular and the tracking tags they provide, they're not HIPAA compliant. So, I would be very clear about that. And then the last thing I want to touch on is unclear reporting. So a lot of agencies out there are reporting on what I consider vanity metrics, like, oh, leads are up month over month, and cost per lead's down 25%. Oh, aren't we great? It's like, well, if none of those leads turned into qualified consultations or, booked surgical revenue, it really doesn't matter, right? So do they have the ability and the technical chops to qualify leads in real time and to give you the ability to have, full oversight into the leads that are coming in across all sources on your website? So a good agency should have the technology that is not only HIPAA compliant, is offered to you free of charge or minimal tech charge at worst, and you'll get real-time lead alerts to your inbox. It'll be, all the phone calls will be dynamically tracked. If you have live chat on your site, that will be tracked. Whether you have an appointment scheduler or, someone that submitted a contact form for additional information to schedule a consultation, all of that can be tracked. And we do it at Alpine, and we give all of our clients access to our lead intelligence dashboard free of charge, because we believe this should be table stakes, right? This should be the foundation of all of your marketing campaigns. So if you're talking to an agency that, sounds like that's a crazy offer or doesn't know that's possible, I would definitely consider that a red flag, and I'd move on. All right, I touched on this a little bit already, but specialization really matters. I've even worked with, agency CEOs in the past that really don't understand how complex and how nuanced running an e-commerce brand in Google Ads or Meta Ads versus a lead generation campaign, how the different level of specialization that each of those require, the different best practices, the kind of different like tricks of the trade that work the best for each, that you can only gain through trial and error and testing and experience, and also by learning from other great people. I think a lot of people just assume that, oh, if you understand Google Ads or a particular ad platform like Google Ads, you must know what you're doing, and that's true to a degree versus someone that had zero knowledge of a platform. But you really, really do want someone that specializes in lead generation for aesthetic marketing practices, because otherwise you are going to have a agency team that is a group of people. They might be very smart and they might mean well, and they probably do, but they just aren't going to have the specialized expertise and experience to get you the results that you're after. Touched on this a little as well, but let's dig a little deeper here. Who's actually doing the work on your account, right? So beware of the slick pitch. A lot of agencies have glossy sales pitches. That's wonderful. Is it a hands-on approach? Are you going to be collaborating with the CEO? At Alpine, every single one of our clients, I'm the main point of contact. Now, as we grow over time, we may eventually have very experienced and dedicated account managers who also have a relationship with a client, but I will always be a part of it, because I just believe that that's the way that I can always deliver the most value for my clients. And I think that, initially they trusted me during the sales process. And so I don't want to just hand them over to someone else. Even if that someone else is very capable, I don't want to fully hand them over to that person without me having some level of oversight and guidance, and continuing to have a relationship with client to make sure they're getting the results they signed up for and the results they deserve. Dig into the team. So if they do have other people working on the account, who are the key members of the team that's going to be servicing your account? Ask to meet them, ask what their credentials are, right? Nothing wrong with that. And then proven track record. If they're a newer agency, it doesn't mean that they aren't credible. They may not have built up, a ton of case studies yet. I wouldn't toss them out immediately because of that. Everyone has to start somewhere. However, you could request case studies of like previous work the CEO's done, or previous work that your, team lead has done. Ask for a client testimonial, client reference. Get on the phone with one of their existing clients. Are they happy? What do they love about them? Do they follow through on the promises that they pitched during the sales process, and so on? So do a little bit of your own due diligence. It can go a long way. HIPAA compliance is non-negotiable. So are they properly securing PHI? If they're using dynamic call tracking and they are capturing the call transcripts, are they redacting the PHI? If those are shared outside of the lead intelligence platform, if they even have a lead intelligence platform. can tell you right now, a lot of agencies don't. I speak with agency owners and other marketers that inquire about ours a lot. So I can already tell you that, that's not something a lot of agencies are doing. So whatever mechanisms or analytics platforms, tracking platforms or tracking tools they're using, are they HIPAA compliant? Have they signed a BAA? Google's not going to sign a BAA. So your Google Analytics account, they're not going to sign a BAA. So right there, and they're capturing IP, so they're not HIPAA compliant. So just understand, if they're storing call recordings and call transcripts as just one example, how is that data being handled properly? And I just think that, this is something. I was actually just talking with a peer of mine this morning, and he does a lot of analytics implementation in the healthcare world. And he was just saying, it's mind blowing how many marketers out there that mean well just really don't understand what violates HIPAA and what doesn't. So just get very clear about that. And then demand transparent reporting. So, vanity metrics, I consider cost per lead and lead volume vanity metrics because they really mean nothing if they don't impact your bottom line. A lot of agencies don't know how to track anything beyond leads and cost per lead unless you give them access to your CRM. Well, a lot of plastic surgeons and med spas we work with, they don't have CRMs, or if they do have a CRM, they're probably not leveraging it as much as they could be, because that takes, a lot of times a dedicated person that is experienced in how to use that CRM system. You don't need a CRM to have a lead intelligence dashboard that captures all of the lead data across all sources, paid and organic, direct, etc., and stores that in an easy to use dashboard. And anyway, that is just something that I think is very critical, and it should be the foundation of every single marketing campaign, and really the foundation of what every agency is offering a healthcare provider or like a plastic surgeon or med spa owner, right? You've got to be able to tie the ultimate outcome for the business to the lead that the agency generated on any given ad platform on any given day, for both the agency and the client to have a full view of what's working, what isn't, where should we shift budget, where should we pull budget away from that's underperforming, right? And if you aren't informed because you aren't able to track all of this data in one easy to use dashboard, then you're flying blind, right? And you could just be burning thousands of dollars, and it'd be very hard for anyone to tell you, whether you were or weren't. And so I cannot stress this enough. I would require call tracking, voicemail storage, transcripts, again, PHI redacted if necessary, all fully HIPAA compliant. The lead intelligence platform we use, our clients get real-time lead alerts to their inbox. It shows them first and last name of the person that submitted the appointment or form for more information, or called, whether they left a voicemail or whether they actually spoke to someone at your practice. You'll get a lot of information about that lead in real time to your practice's email address, whoever you've deemed your point of contact to receive that lead information. So first, last name, where they called from, their geolocation, what device they're on, what browser they're on, what Google Ads keyword they came in on, what Google Ads campaign they came in on. And then you can follow, that lead is stored. So you can then mark that lead as qualified or pending or not qualified. And then only the leads that are marked as qualified, that your practice has marked as qualified, are then pushed via an API connection into the ad platforms like Google Ads and Meta Ads. And why that is very, very important, and this is really like exciting from a marketer standpoint, but I recognize in talking to prospective clients is sometimes it's a little bit over their head. In simple terms, Google is really good at meeting goals based on the data you feed it. So if you tell an AI powered bidding strategy in Google, right, one of its bidding strategies, and you tell it, my goal is to maximize conversions or maximize leads, it's really good at doing that, but it doesn't know if it was a junk lead. So was it someone that clicked your ad and called looking for a job, which is totally irrelevant and a wasted click and a waste of your money? Or was it someone that wanted to come in for a mommy makeover procedure, booked the consultation, and then ultimately booked the surgery, had the surgery, then you could go into the lead intelligence dashboard. You could say, okay, this was the amount I was paid. This is the amount I profited after I deduct my expenses like OR cost, anesthesia, etc. Right? You should be able to have that full view for all of your marketing dollars. And if your agency you're thinking about partnering with is not able to give you that level of transparent reporting, you are not with the right agency. So, to recap, 5 questions to ask before signing. Are they a generalist agency, or do they specialize in aesthetic marketing, like helping plastic surgeons and med spas grow profitably? Team experience. Who's going to be managing your day-to-day account? How much experience do they have? And are they specialized in aesthetic marketing as well? What do you know about HIPAA compliance? How do you ensure that they are HIPAA compliant? How are they storing your leads in a HIPAA compliant manner? And even at a more basic level, if they don't have a lead intelligence platform, how are they even tracking your leads, right? The ad platform's tracking tags, again, are not HIPAA compliant. So are they using a third-party tag from a third-party technology provider that they have signed a BAA with? Or are they using the ad platform tags like a Google tag? Because if that's the case, you're violating HIPAA. Really critical and really missed by a lot of people. That's very important. Number 4, reporting and lead tracking. Demand transparent reporting that goes beyond the vanity metrics. Look for agencies that offer full funnel HIPAA compliant lead intelligence, including source attribution, like what are the sources all your leads came from, call recordings, call transcripts, revenue tracking, all the way back to the keyword level. It is possible, I promise you. And then finally, thought leadership. Assess the agency's content and thought leadership. Do they publish educational resources like videos? Is their CEO on relevant podcasts? Do they have case studies that showcase their expertise? Can you talk to an existing client of theirs to really ask tough questions and make sure that you are signing on with an agency that is truly going to help you grow profitably? And again, I hope this was helpful. And if you are interested in speaking with me, I will leave a link to my calendar where you can book a free strategy call. I'd love to get a chance to meet you and, just understand where you are, where you're trying to go, and if we may be the right partner for you. At the very least, I hope you enjoyed today, and I hope that just understanding a little bit more about the agency landscape and the right questions to ask sets you up for selecting the right agency partner.